relief. So sit back, grab your notebooks, your teas. This message is for you if you have been feeling like, first of all, there's signs everywhere. Whether that's an angel number, whether that's the birds, whether that's the butterflies, the feathers. Like, you've been seeing so much, and it's almost like things are moving quickly but slowly at the same time. There's a lot of duality, there's a lot of polarizing feelings. So you might be feeling super bright, super expressive, super jubilation, like celebratory, right? But also at the same time, there's a heaviness, there's a lot of introspection, there's a lot of refraction. So light, you're shifting your view, you're shifting your perspective. The colors are changing, life is changing around you, right? And I want to talk about this energy literally from the moment I just had welcome home, do a message. And so I wish I had my mic because I'm outside, and I don't have cards with me today because I was guided to just speak from the heart, my heart to yours, my higher self to yours. So if this energy resonates, 143, allow yourself to receive. Okay, your destiny is yours to walk, to unfold, and I, as your oracle, my name is Destiny. I do share my gifts to help people see, because we can always see, we can always tap into our intuition. Sometimes the oracle is all we need. Sometimes we need someone to reflect it back to us, and that's what I'm here to do today. And this message, as much as the title, Welcome Home, this is a Labradorite, by the way. One of my, yes, but no, my fave crystal, Angel Michael, Uriel Gabriel, might be significant to you. Here, as I'm channeling this message, I'm gonna let that plane go overhead. Whilst it does that, I'd like to invite you to take a nice deep breath. Set an intention for what you'd like to receive from this message, from your higher self. Let the air circulate through your body. When you're ready, let it out with a big sigh. Don't you love that though? Like when you're receiving messages, like you start to get downloads. Like it's an activation, it's a conversation. We may not be face to face, but this is a conversation. Like, oh yeah, I love what I do. But yeah, the message. The feeling of welcome home, coming home to yourself, such an exciting feel, but it was very solemn. And at first I thought it was solemn in a like neutral stance. But no, I feel like there is some grief here. There is a need to look within what is actually happening below the surface, because a lot has changed. From you 3 months ago, let alone a year ago, let alone 3 years ago, 10 years ago, so much has changed. But a cycle has come, there is a cycle that is coming to its close. And it's so funny, when I did the judgment card reading and there's this next step that is going to close out a cycle, I thought that was it, and then yay, we're on to the next. No, Spirit said Farabale, come back to the ground, relax yourself. I'm Yoruba, by the way. Half Yoruba, half Calabar. But yeah, Farabale. And there's this ego rest, yes, because the way you have perceived not only yourself but your home. Okay, let's just start welcome home, because if not, because every message feels like a meandering of the same river, the same ocean, and I can just go. If I start 3 videos ago, we don't know how long it's going to take till we get to the message. But welcome home. You are at home. You, for the past however many years your awakening or healing journey has been, you have been cleaning out, the corners, the nooks, the crannies. You've been unpacking, you've been recognizing what has grown here. What has grown here? You have moved things out, you have dusted, you have cleaned. I'll never forget at the beginning of like my spiritual journey, like how it was for me. I was on an island alone, and I remember I was clearing up, like preparing, like, oh my gosh, like we're gonna come here soon, or like I need to activate into this role or whatever. And I was clearing the island, and it was just like, no, like there was so much calling for rest. There was so much of really realizing that the sea, the oceans, our emotions were also doing the clearing out for us. And that might be significant to you. The ocean might be significant to you, because honestly I don't actually remember that physical image as much or as clearly. But I'm just seeing the ocean waves bringing in debris from the bottom of the sea, which is you, for you to sort through. And I can hear my daily anchoring alarm. I don't even have that phone with me, so I know I don't need to start checking. But daily anchoring, yes, because you, in order to anchor yourself into the truth of who you were, had to clear through what had been sitting in the bottom of your subconscious. And there's been so much that you've sorted through. There's been so many rooms that you've discovered in this home which represents you. But also you've recognized how this home that is you, whether you're picturing it as a home, a train on a journey, a garden, it has no physical, not that it doesn't have a physical space, but it has no physical limitation. Yeah, that's the word, thank you, Spirit. That you couldn't box it to one thing. And I feel like you have, over the course of, I don't know, your self-discovery, been trying to hone in on who am I, what is my expression. And today I'm passing a message, if this is the only thing that you take, that your expression is fluid. There is no set way of being you. And the sun comes out. This is where we welcome home. This is where you come back home to truth. And again, there feels so much space in this message, but that's because you have created so much space. You have created so much space. You have decided to love every part of you. And now, this welcoming home, you are coming back home to yourself, but you've never seen this building, this home, this space as it was, because before it was full of so many other people's words, other people's beliefs, other people's opinions, expectations. They were boxes full of things that just were not related to you at your core. And even you at your core, there's no word or language I can use that can limit you. I feel like a lot of you, again, back to the ego death message, you are the observer. Your human self is carrying a soul, a spirit, or energy, whatever word that you want to use, but there is a piece of the divine, or like I like to say, a drop of the ocean within you that has memory, that has its own unique blend of the zodiac. You are your own being and a vast interconnected field of energy. Like, there's so many atoms and atoms join and they create things and they make things. And you not only are a creation, but you are a creator. You are multifaceted. And I feel like over the past couple of years, there have been ways where you have known yourself. The example that came to my mind, okay, you might have been a poet, but now all of a sudden you're feeling an affiliation to spoken word. But then even then, if you decide to do spoken word today and then in 2 years you prefer to do theatre or script writing, you haven't changed, because in all of these things, the core is expression, storytelling. That is who you are. That is who you are. And there is something about coming home to the simplicity of who you are and detaching from the title, detaching from the ways that that action makes money or is labeled or understood, and you are coming home to, at my core, without any external connection, who am I? And it's so funny because you know when people say, oh, if a tree falls down, did it really fall down? Was there really a sound? Yes, because we are here to be witnessed. But your first witness is yourself. You, the observer, the part of you that is unseen. It was 11:11 and I just saw a dandelion wish go past. You, again, welcome home. It's like you're welcoming your divine self into your body. There is this harmonizing, this, again, I've been talking a lot about heart and mind coherence, but it feels like your trinity, your mind, body, soul, your spirit, soul, body. I really wish I had my mic right now. But hopefully you guys are following along. But there is this coherence that's happening, and you are inviting the part of you that is unseen, the part of you that is detached from ego, your higher consciousness, your Ori, your Yoruba, but yeah, higher self. You are connecting with that. You are merging with that. You may have been consulting your higher self, or like seeing your higher self or your future self as this person. Like, you've been on this journey of becoming. You've made the vision board. You were like, this is who I aspire to be. This is me. This is me. This is me. But I think this message is a welcome home to the fact that no, this is you. You're not becoming. You just are. Because you are on. This life is about remembering. We return to source. We welcome ourselves back home. And I'm getting like a chicken or the egg. Is the body the home, or is the spirit the home? Forget about that, because it is not as important right now. We get into the metaphysics and all of that jazz. It can get confusing, because I do sense that a lot of you are early in your spiritual awakening journey, or you are having another spiritual awakening, and I want to make this as simple as possible. I know you have a lot of questions, but the questions are usually the ego needing to understand, needing to compartmentalize, needing to make sense of what already is. And I am welcoming you home. I'm welcoming you home to what already is, which is truth, which is you, which is the fact that your vessel contains so much energy that is ready to be expressed in a new way. This home of yours, it is time for you to investigate, to study. You spent so long clearing out the space, getting rid of the chains that chained you to beliefs and structures that didn't actually resonate. And now there is so much space. And again, this is where the Five of Cups, there's so much grief, because you were seeing yourself in the old way. And 555 is very significant. 5 of Cups, 5 of Swords, and 5 of Pentacles. Well, 5555 actually, because I was also channeling the 5 of Wands. I've been doing so many reading guides, but Spirit was just like, Lee, put the cards down, just speak. And that's even an example for me, because I read tarot, I do astrology readings, I am a medium. Like, there's all these titles, but at the end of the day, I am a highly intuitive, sensitive being that is able to connect and see with the divine, and I storytell and I alchemize energy and put it into words in a way where our human conscious minds are able to connect with the higher. That is my role, that is what I do, and there is no one set way. And if I actually, I'm gonna, yeah, personal story, I guess. So, as a part of my spiritual journey and practice, I was actually never raised doing things this way. I was raised in getting message. It's like getting receiving words from the Holy Spirit. I was a born again Christian babe, worship leader, highly prophetic. Those were the words, the English, the boxes that I used to understand the ways that my soul came to express itself at this time. But as my beliefs began to change, or as I began to ask questions around the 2020 time, COVID, there was loads of people that awakened during that time. And it began to dawn upon me that, I don't actually believe these things. I don't believe there's a monopoly of truth. I don't believe there's one way of connecting to the divine. I don't believe that my ancestors' way of connecting to spirit is demonic. I actually really love Ifa. Like, I love Ifa so much. I really want to study it more. But I remember at the time I was just like, I don't know what, like, I don't know if I want to get into something so organized. I've just left something that was quite culty. I don't want to dive into religion or like a deep spiritual practice just yet. So I wandered, and I'm hearing wandering, 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 and I'm a wanderer. So the word wonder or wanderlust, you might be a Sagittarius or have Sagittarius placements, or just a deep affinity to spirituality, ethics, moral, like just the ninth house, like your beliefs, what you believe, and how other people believe. Like, you're just philosophy. You want to go deep into it, because truth is something that you never felt could be boxed into one place. And yeah, so I was wondering, and I remember at the beginning of my journey, I was just like, look, okay, I do believe in a creator. I believe there is a God per se. Even God is just, to me, an English word. But I didn't understand what that meant for me. So I said, I'm going to follow my higher self, because I believe that my higher self is a piece of God, of the divine. And that's how Indi came to being. Indi, my Ori, my higher self, that is my connection to spirit. And following that has led me on many paths, and I've had my dark nights of the soul. I've met my shadow, done a lot of shadow work, and done a lot of inner witnessing. And as I was on that journey, I realized there was a lot of there were just loads of soul fragments, loads of pieces of myself that I'd either left in relationships, because that's at the end of the day, our ego, our perception of ourselves, is the stories that we tell. That is what we attach to. We are attached to the stories, not the said moment. And the ability to detach from a connection or from a way of seeing ourselves and being able to truly see ourselves, that is abolishing ego. That is fully stepping into your higher self, being able to witness and see what is underneath the surface, and to communicate freely. And that journey, so I feel like I'm on a tangent, but I'm gonna keep going because the message will flow. Hopefully you're still with me. Oh yes, I was talking about tarot. But yeah, when I first became spiritual and I left organized religion, and I was just like, I'm gonna follow my higher self, and I explored so many different things, and tarot was one of my first connections to spirit, to divination, because that's the thing. It's in my blood. Divination is in my blood. Being a seer is in my blood, but these are things that I wasn't necessarily exposed to outside of being a born-again Christian and Holy Spirit and stuff like that, right? Now, at a time in my journey, there was a time where I was living, I wasn't allowed to read tarot, and I remember that created so much friction, because to me, I was a tarot reader. and have meaning, value outside of anything that we do or any label, because those things can change, but we will always remain the same at our core. Getting to know yourself at your core is a journey, but you've been on that journey, and I think the part that you are at now, 21 on the timer, yeah, this ending, this completion, the world, the sun's coming out again, is now, okay, this is who I am at my core. How do I allow myself, how does my soul want to express itself at this time? Because that's all your purpose is in life, to express yourself authentically, and that expression will change. That expression shows up in your day job, it shows up in your career, it shows up in your art, it shows up in your relationships, but not attaching to said thing and allowing it to flow as it feels, as it desires, like that is the welcoming home, and it's so white butterfly land. It's a rebirth. The visions that you have for yourself and for where you're going to be, a lot of you are going to be surprised at how they evolve and the different colors that you're going to see, because you have not been this version of you. I'm hearing for some of you for longer than 3 months. Like, you have this integration of your core. And yes, I am affirmations are something that we practice to affirm who we are, but you've reached a point where it's not just about affirming who you are, it's about knowing who you are, and that is the homecoming. And in order to know who you are, the ego has to let go of all the stories and all the old ways you knew yourself. We get to know ourselves through our relationships. So there are relationships that have passed, that how you acted, how you were treated, the stories you have, they also weave without you even knowing. Subconsciously, they tell you who you know or who you think you are. If your experiences had a lot of bullying, or you were quiet and you dimmed your light in the past, now as you are homing yourself and you're about to step out into the world in a new way, Jupiter in Leo, expanding our heart, asking ourselves not only to express ourselves loudly, but to open up and expand the ways that we create. As we go through that change, and it's inviting us to do new things, or things that we have always wanted to do but never allowed ourselves to do in the past. Oh my gosh, how the ego is going to be making noise, because all of a sudden, no, you're incapable, remember? You're timid, remember? You were abused, remember? Someone like you isn't worthy to, someone like you doesn't have the strength, the how. And it's not even just about how you see yourself, it's about how you see the attachments to what you put at the end of I am. So if at your core you know you are a leader, some of you are like, okay, a leader needs to be regiment, it needs to be like, you see your relationship with authority might be very dictatorship, but you're not a dictator, so you're like, I can't be a leader because I don't lead in this way. This is where the ego needs to release its chains, where the ego is melting away, fading away, grieving as you are changing how you're perceiving not only yourself but the world around you. It might be interesting to see what's going on in your 1st house, your 5th house, your 3rd as well. If you'd like help with that, I am an oracle. Head to the link in my description box if you would like a cosmic blueprint, your birth chart reading, or a cosmic alignment session aligning you with either the times or something within you that is trying to unfold that you are struggling to. But the ego right now cannot be the author of your script. Okay, we are in 2026. This is a huge global shift. only is this the beginning of a 9-year cycle. Sorry, I know the wind is picking up, so I want to make sure that I am heard. It's the beginning of a 9-year cycle, but also there is so many astrological shifts that are happening right now that it's just screaming newness. Okay, the nodes have shifted into Aquarius. This is the collective era. This is the era of being an individual in the midst of community, where your heart, the Leo part of you, your heart is now being called to express itself and to connect with those that resonate with your authentic truth. And in order to do this in fullness and in authenticity, it is asking, there is a calling of the ego to surrender, so that the heart and the mind can align, so that your mind can operate from your highest self. The King of Swords, Aquarius energy, the mind without ego, your Ori, your higher self. I'm hearing the word chi, I don't know if that might be significant to you, but your energy, how it wants to flow, how the channel of source energy through you, in order to express it in a way that feels like at home, where you don't have to mask or change or shape. The ego cannot get in the way, and right now the ego is doing a lot of speaking. 5 of Swords, attaching to old conflicts, old situations, old communities that you were attached to. Venus in Aquarius. Not letting yourself move past the communities that shaped how you now see the world and the problems you identify. You are not that. You are allowed to move on. Mars in Scorpio, the pain, the trauma that you stored in your emotional world and body, you are allowed to alchemize that. You are allowed to recognize that, yes, you were traumatized. I have a Mars in Scorpio, so I actually have this placement, so it's deep to me. But those, whether it is SA, DV, bullying, whatever experience it was, how you showed up in those times is not who you are. And I feel tears coming from my eyes, because victim mentalities, these are words that people throw out, but when you have been a victim, there's a line in one of my poems, that I, who had been a victim one too many a time, it was my responsibility to rewire, something like that. We talk about victim mentality and, oh, you shouldn't have this, but if somebody has been a victim, I just literally just got an ADHD diagnosis, not vacation. Some of you might be neurodivergent. If you were not cared for, your needs weren't met, your mental health was not nurtured and cared for, then there may have been ways, trauma responses, or splits, like I'm seeing BPD. So there were symptoms that you were experiencing and also operating from that didn't necessarily reflect who you are. And again, my forehead is burrowing as I say that, because there is still this feeling of, no, this is who I am. There's still this part of you that, I'm going to pull a Secret Garden card, because I don't know if the message is clear enough to be received. Maybe it is, and this also is ego in me. Forgiveness. A crushed flower still gives off a sweet scent. Thank you, Spirit. Because the things that happen to you, forgiveness, I've got a whole video on this on my main YouTube channel, The Indieverse, the Creators Universe, aka the land of indie, the land of I am, where I talk about how forgiveness has got nothing to do with reconciliation. It's got nothing to do with making up with somebody. It's about energy release. It's about not storing and harboring anger or resentment in your body, right? And how you acted in certain situations, you are allowed to hold yourself accountable. You're allowed to say, you're allowed to have a perception of what that was without that being now attached to your sense of self. That is where the King of Swords comes in. There's an impartial nature where neutrality, because the universe is neutral. The universe is neutral. Okay, you're allowed to say, okay, that was wrong. Or, cause that's the thing, I feel like a lot of you, I'm picking up Virgo placements, a lot of you judge yourself quite heavily, which is why it's hard for you to come home. It is hard for you to welcome yourself into this new expression. It is hard for you to step into this new chapter because there is still a lot of forgiveness. There's still a lot that you're holding on to, whether that's mistakes, whether that's ways that you used to show up. This could even be to do with your sexuality, this could be to do with your gender expression, this could be to do with so many things that were set in stone that are now trying to evolve. And because it's evolving, it's almost like you're feeling like, oh my gosh, who am I now? You are still you. It's just being expressed differently. Those heavier times, the trauma, those were not you. They maybe shaped how you express yourself. They shaped how you see the world. They might have been part of your karmic soul journey, things that you had to learn. Because at the end of the day, all of those situations were to push and navigate you back home to yourself. If you were always looking for home in other people, in relationships, some people, it's Libra risings maybe. But if you came to this world, I'm also picking up North Node. So astrology is very, very important. I really, really do think astrology and understanding your own blend of the zodiac, and understanding what your soul lesson, your soul gifts is very important in this life. And if you want to dive in, please do. But saying here, yes, each soul has its own journey. Some people's journey, but then also we experience our soul through others. So relationships, there's a card, one of my oracle cards, relationships are assignments. Yes, because you in that relationship, you will see reflections of you. You will see how you like to express yourself. Because of that, there's a part of you that is brought out from that relationship. But there may be relationships that brought out sides of you that you didn't like, and that is the whole point, because you are supposed to have unconditional love for those said parts of you. You're supposed to come home, welcome those parts of you home. You're supposed to see which parts of you aren't you, which parts of you were. That's where the devil comes in, the devil card, where we are no longer operating from following our heart and our higher self, but instead our ego. So we're maybe attached to certain addictions, ways of thinking, and that's where we have to forgive ourselves. That's where we have to release ourselves so that we can be free and welcome ourselves back to home, so that we can walk our destiny in fullness, without restriction, without resistance. Because I'm telling you guys, in the coming weeks, in the coming months, you are going to be you're going to be asking yourself to do new things, and there's a beckoning of more. There's a beckoning of truth. There's a beckoning of authenticity that can only come through if you are able to release your view of who you have been, how you used to see yourself, to be able to hold space for what fell away, but allow yourself to change your perspective of it so that you can create something new, because you always will have you. In the Five of Cups, those two cups, they are representative of you, of your masculine and your feminine still being there in the midst of the connections, the celebrations, the physical forms of joy that were lost. Transform, rise above any situation and become the best version of you. In every situation, all that is asking you you're always evolving. You are not static. Even you as you are right now, you're going to, in 3 months' time, you'll change. The only constant in life is change. And I wrote a poem, the only constant is change, so I begged to stay inconsistent or something like that. I didn't want to change, so I was inconsistent. But those inconsistencies, they keep us separate from what we are meant to see in this life. And in order to see this rebirth, this change, this death, the star that you have held onto in your heart, in order to see its true nature, you're being asked to come home. And coming home to yourself, that takes time. Study yourself, allow yourself to, the same way when you're clearing out the room, each room, and doing the shadow work, now the lights are on. Okay, I was saying, I can't remember where, but yeah, I was talking about how we are stars. This might have been around the full moon in Aquarius, but we are stars. Okay, I be channeling all the time, so I'm like, I'm trying to remember and gather all the memories of my mind. But we are stars. But a star is in the midst of darkness. Okay, the night sky is dark, and imagine you looking around, all you see is darkness. Looking for the other light. You're looking for the other light. You look at other lights because they reflect your light back onto you. But it comes to a point where the nearest star might be far, 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 far away. And until you recognize that the light is you, that your light illuminates onto the things around you, and that's how you're able to perceive the things around you through your light. You are light, but you are also the darkness. You are also that absence of light. You are both. You hold duality, and I'm seeing someone in a tunnel. Again, a lot of my poems are just lines from my poems, and I don't remember my poetry, so the fact that I always read my poems when I'm reading them out loud, so the fact that they're coming out, you might be a poet, or these just might be key themes. And one of the lines is that the light at the end of the tunnel was me. You were going through this darkness, hoping that you would find something. That's soul searching. That's what it means to soul search. But soul, S-O-L, the sun, the light, your source. It's you. Your core, your truth, the things that turn you. Your vitality comes from you. What is the light in your sky? What messages have you come to deliver? What is your soul expression at this time? And that will transform. But it's time to get to know that light is you. And once you know that the light is you, it's up to you what you do with that light, whether you want to paint with it, whether you want to speak and share with it, when you want to write with it. 38, you may be 38. I don't know why I thought 38, is that the third house year? Hold on, because I'm 26, 27, 38 is the 12th house, is a third house year. So you might be 38, that is a third house year, which is a perfection house year in astrology, to do with communication, your thoughts, short distance travel, siblings, communication, your mind, okay? Getting to know your mind, and maybe you're getting to know your mind in a new way. You're ready to express yourself in a new way. You're coming home to yourself. You're recognizing who you are, knowing who you are, what you value. You know the value of yourself. You are planting that. You are anchoring yourself in that, and now expressing that, exploring that. That's what I was going to say. Yes, exploration of self is something that you're being called into at this time. Because the house that you spent clearing up, the house that you spent getting to know, is now a home. It is a home. You have gotten rid of every parasite and pest and any unwelcome body, anything that was foreign to that space, and you now have so much space to decorate, to also see the things that were already here that you didn't know. You're getting to know your roots again. Getting to know you again, and you're going to constantly get to know yourself. And when you get to know yourself, you're going to see that, oh, you know what, I really love to paint, I really love color, I really love building, I really love strategy, I love formulas, I love organizing. There's so many. And then you're gonna find a way to operate and to use the things that you love to express yourself. And as you begin to express yourself, you're going to start to see visions of how you want to further build the home that is you in the life around you. How do you want to engage with society? How do you want to connect? What are the wishes? What are the manifestations? These things are going to be shaping and changing and connects you to your ground, your knowing of I am. And I feel like that's where you're at right now. That's where you're at right now. You are at this time of study. You're at this time. I don't want you to overly attach to the fact that, okay, you want to be a fashion designer at this time. Yes, you are a fashion designer. Let yourself do it, but do not attach to the identity and make that all that you are, because there is multiple facets and sides to you. Okay, rest. You don't have to solve everything today. I'm also feeling that I need to wrap up the message because we've been, and I feel like the main reason for this message was a call to meditate, a call to witness yourself, a call to explore. Persevere, leave no stone unturned, and strength. Don't let weeds and thistles cultivate in your garden. Okay, the ego right now, as you are getting to know the house, getting to know you, getting to know your truth, getting to know, like, it's going to try and hover over you. It's going to try and tell you, oh no, you can't do it, you can't do this. It's got 20% battery. You can't. But that is a weed, that is a thistle, that is a stronghold, an old belief that you cannot allow to cultivate. You need to allow yourself to detach from said thought and allow yourself to see, where is it rooted from, where does it come from. Leave no stone unturned. Allow yourself to explore. And I know at this point it may feel like, okay, but like, where does it end? You're infinite, babes. You're infinite. And that's why you're being called to come back to your center, come back to source. Okay, not focusing on the external, not focusing on external judgment or values or how others may see. This is a time for you to witness yourself in your entirety and let yourself be. Let what wants to come out, because the clarity will come in the stillness, in the rest, not in the constant questioning. Okay, yeah, there's a lot of, I'm definitely picking up a lot of Libra energy. Okay, and Moana is significant too. As I look at the bottom of the deck, generosity, soak seeds of kindness. Okay, so make sure you're being kind to yourself. Okay, if you want to, what do you want to see grow in your life at this time? What do you want in your home? Make sure it is acts of kindness. Make sure you're being kind to yourself, devoting to yourself, showing love to yourself, because that is where now, that's what's now going to grow. Okay, don't let the ego bring, because I'm looking at the mushroom like fungus thing. Yeah, some fungus is nice, but some is toxic. Okay, I'm going to leave this here. Okay, surrender to the last hour when the light barely touches the flowers. If you're watching this, bonus points if you're seeing this, if this finds you at night time, or if you're watching this at night. But I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. And I hope this message is like an invitation to a message that brings you back to peace. That there is more of you that you are being called to see. And yeah, that's all from me. Like, I really do think that's the message that needed to come out at this time. And I'm manifesting that it finds all those that need to hear it, that need to receive it. Not every message is going to be for everyone, but if it's for you, the sun has come out to confirm that it is true. Okay, I love you, Pookie. Dear child of destiny, I am your oracle. Whenever you need help to see, I will be here. If you like content like this, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, let me know how you feel, how you flow. This is an energy exchange at the end of the day. And if you like a personal one-on-one reading, for extra support, all my services are in the description box below. I love you lots, and your destiny is yours to unfold. Go witness secrets that are yet